All right, guys, we are back with the finals of this LVO qualifier here in Derry, New Hampshire at Midgard Games. I am joined by a special commentator for this final, Mr. Matt Alix. Matt, how are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm also doing pretty well. So you've been helping Brian, co-TOing this event, right?
Yeah.
How has that gone so far? What's the mood been like, and how has kind of the overall player base, have they been behaving? Have the locals been?
They've been behaving. They've been nice to everybody from out of town.
All right,
it's been a good day. We had one person who could not show up, but a local stepped in and played a couple rounds. So
okay.
We've only had 2 drops, another person had to leave, so we're at 22 right now, which is great.
Beautiful.
It's going back and forth for a little while, but we did fill the tournament up, which was unexpected, so we're pretty happy that happened. And I was also happy too because I didn't have to play today. So after NashCon last week, a little tired.
Yeah, having done the same thing, I could understand the wear that happens a little bit there. Dan, we have Riot Sparks as well.
No.
Oh, intrusions.
17 threat.
All right, and there was a gentleman's agreement as well that no Malekith would be played in this unless someone says, you know what, it'll be funny if I just do it anyway.
Yeah, so Nick's our 4-0 for the day, and Robert's 3-1. In the challenger format, which we're using, you play 5 rounds even if there's down to 1 undefeated. So if Nick loses, this could really shake things up this round.
Yeah, really good. All right, so we're going to go over to the game screen here. I always get mixed up on intrusions. What's the actual name of the... It's not the black border one.
No, that's the it's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the C, 3 across the middle, where you can teleport between them for 1 power, and you take 1 damage. And if you roll a blank or a skull, your opponent gets to choose which one you transport.
What does she do?
Tables!
But how is tables a job?
I can't know how to hear any more about tables.
I don't know if you've seen that.
I have. I've watched this stream before. Yeah.
Do I just not have intrusions on here?
Seals collapsing.
Oh, it's seals? Okay. It definitely... Collapsing seal. Oh, I just have to call it like the worst thing in the world. It doesn't have intrusions or seal at the start of it. But we got it. We got there. Thank you, Wraith, for that. All right. So get this. All right, Alex, if you want to let us know what Nick will be playing and what his practice cards are going to be.
All right, so Nick's got Dr. Voodoo, Dr. Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, Insurance, and Rogue. And his cards are Brace for Impact, Ironbound Books of Shumagorath, Bane of Damballa, Orb of Anamato, and the Wonderful Tomb.
So similar setup that we've seen a couple times here with Strange, and Dr. Voodoo. Dan.
And then Rob has Black Panther, Hulk, Winter Soldier, and Killmonger. And he's got Patch Up, Recalibration Matrix, Escort to Safety, Wakanda Forever, and Usurp the Throne.
I like seeing Winter Soldier in there. Actually, just kind of a little bit of a refreshing pace here, seeing Wakanda at all. So he had Black Panther, Killmonger,
Hulk, and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Something to smash.
Here's the 4th one I keep missing. Oh, Killmonger and Hulk. All right.
You start getting home when you get a bad knee, right? I got a bad knee and a good knee, and then the right knee.
Killmonger and Hulk. Beautiful. All right. Now I think we're all set with our auto things here. Brian, if you want to hand that back to Robert.
The latest I've slept into recently is like 10 o'clock.
Okay.
It's different. I mean, I just wake up.
Right. I don't have kids. I don't have pets.
So, Dan, who has priority?
Neither do I.
What's that? Nick. Oh, gotcha. All right, so Nick is going to have priority here. We got Wakanda. Guys, I mean, the excitement in the room here immediately piped right back up.
Never mind. Rob has priority. I forgot.
Oh, that was just, it was a joke. Rob actually has priorities.
Just kidding. I didn't forget.
All right, so going into this with the challenger rules, you do keep playing, and tiebreakers kind of decide it all. We've got strength of schedule first, right? Followed by, what's the second tiebreaker?
I believe it's victory points.
Victory points.
Total VPs.
So Nick is 4-0. Rob is 3-1. He's really not liking the matchup going into Convocation with the only rerolls and blanks he can counter against Mystic Attacks. So could be a little bit of an uphill battle, but we've seen Robert pull out some absolute incredible matches after starting, pretty far behind. Even today, I think the second game we had on stream was Robert, and came right back from something that certainly didn't seem winnable.
And what's interesting too is, Wakanda, he's got plenty of energy attacks. With the Montesi thing out there, Hulk can also grab a book and have energy attacks too. So, kind of could hurt his Ironbound books a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, actually, Montesi's kind of a great thing here for him to get around specifically. Especially when you're running kind of an aggressive team with both Killmonger and Hulk.
Yeah. He's definitely looking to take out as many Nick's characters as quick as he can.
Yeah. Yep.
I was fully expecting Hulk to pop out, so you're not in my head yet.
All right, but now we've seen Nick run these 4 already, even just in the last round. But benefit here, not a rogue on both sides of the table, not a Dr. Voodoo on both sides of the table, so it'll make it significantly easier to tell what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are the cards I'm playing. I'm going to sit
Did Nick choose who's the leader?
I don't believe so. Because that's after deployment, right? With Convocation? Or is that only when you have to declare who your leader is if you have multiple?
I believe you do it when you're deploying.
Okay.
Can you do it on both of your attacks?
So there's kind of other tactics cards right now.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people like reading that.
I think this would be a pretty good matchup. Rob definitely has the tools to take out Nick here.
Yeah.
Just depends on how cagey Nick can be, I think. And there's only 6 points available on the table in return, too.
So what do you think going into this particular matchup between these two? Are you trying to be aggressive? Are you just trying to get points? Are you trying to wait it out, or is it a game of attrition?
I think when there's not a lot of points on the table, I think Rob really wants to try and kill Nick as soon as he can. Take out Dr. Voodoo, take out
Ancient One, Strange, and Rogue.
So probably take out Rogue, right? So she can't bully around Hulk, throw him around, and then take out Dr. Voodoo, so he can't negate Rob's guys with his Daniel token.
No, but if I lose, then I might still win against him. Maybe.
And it's going to be tough for Nick to stay away with the intrusions because he was teleported from there.
Yeah. Yep.
But as we all know, Mystic Attacks are the bane of Black Panther's existence. So.
Yeah, for real. Well, we saw that earlier, too, with a Convocation list going into Red Guardian, not being able to spend and count any of those blanks, and he was rolling, just handfuls of blanks, too.
Yeah.
Just but it's a Mystic Attack, man, sorry.
So he did take Usurp the Throne, which means he's going to have to take out Strange to get those points, which on a non-Books of Shumagorath turn is not tough for Killmonger.
Yeah. Well, we saw him do it earlier against a Malekith and be able to take him out. So that Wakanda Forever kind of adds the backup to make sure he goes down. Really comes in handy. So, as we discussed earlier, when Robert played Gabe, that Robert did in fact use all of his Tactics cards, so that's where he was going to win. And it was a real long shot. Those 2 victory points from Usurp the Throne really kind of decided it at the end of the day. Yep.
Nice.
We're still 17. Let's go for that.
So you have already qualified for LVO, correct?
I did, yeah. We had another qualifier back in April, and I pulled that one out, luckily. So that's why I'm not playing today.
Can I take a wild guess at what affiliation you ran?
Yeah, you can take a wild guess.
Dread Dimension. Dark Dimension.
Yes, no, actually. unsurprisingly, Web Warriors. I only tend to get in one game a week, so I like to try and play what I love.
Yeah.
But I mess around with other stuff, like in case I had to play any of the buy rounds today, I brought A-Force and Winter.
You brought the Winter Guard.
Yeah, so Winter Guard and A-Force, so it would have been called it Winter Force.
I like that.
And I ask these guys what they want me to play sometimes, and they can try and bounce stuff off me.
How have you gotten any games in with Winter Guard?
No, I actually haven't yet. I've been. I really want to give them a try though. They just seem like they got some good abilities. Their cards are. Most of them I think are okay, right? You got to kind of build towards them.
Yeah.
Bear Hug's a little, maybe not that great, but other than that,
yeah.
As Sovereign Strike, I think is really interesting. And Red Guardians, I forget what it's called, but where he can, takes the hit. It's like Heroes for Hire, but it's unlimited size throw.
Yep.
So I think they get a lot of play. I think they're pretty splashable too, depending on what else you have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's kind of the nice thing too, is with only 4 characters in the affiliation, you can kind of. They're pretty versatile as they exist currently.
Yeah. You get a lot of room to bring in other stuff and then or splash them somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the cool things too is we've seen a lot of play today, specifically from Crimson Dynamo. Granted, it's a little bit of a learning curve for some players to make sure that they are spending for that disruption field as they are targeted. But I mean, we've seen it negate really important wild triggers and like kind of a whole bunch.
I haven't seen anybody playing him with either playing Winter Guard with Amazing Spider-Man or having Web Warriors with that. But I mean, rerolling three dice for your opponent is pretty good.
Yeah, for real.
Especially since the way rerolls work, you can do the 2, so they get a wild trigger. Okay, reroll the wild. Mm-hmm. They get another wild. You can use the other ability to make them reroll it again.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and it's a little bit different, right? Too, when you're rerolling defense dice or something, for the most part, when you reroll it, the odds are in your favor that is not going to end up being a successful block. But with attack rolls, a little bit of different odds.
Yeah.
So it can really be anyone's game there, but at least those crits don't re-trigger. And isn't there something with, maybe I'm just thinking about this, but with wilds being re-rolled, don't they not trigger anymore even if it re-rolls into a wild, or does it still trigger?
It can still trigger. You have to get rid of the wilds.
Okay, you do have to get rid of them completely.
I mean, that's a 1 in 8 chance they're going to get it again.
Right.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good odds.
I think we'll get the Agents of Smash next year. I think it'd be rad as heck, especially with the She-Hulk stuff out. You know what I mean? There's really not a bad time to have more Hulk.
And I mean, She-Hulk, I think she's pretty underrated right now. You can splash her in a lot of places to deal with Malekith or whatever you need to deal with. She's pretty good. She got the higher energy defense over Hulk, right? So 1 more there. Mm-hmm. The aggressive to get into range.
So you do have the Winter Guard. Is it Winter Guard or Malekith that comes with the new activation tokens, the blue ones?
It's Malekith.
Malekith.
Yeah, it's got those fancy new activation tokens.
Do you use it? Is that like your go-to now? I see a lot of people, once they was out, they immediately switched over to the blue boys.
I mean, you only get 5, and I'm usually six wide, so I don't have enough.
I had the same thought. I always try to go as absolutely as wide as possible, and it's like, well, I guess I could use one red one probably in there still.
That just messes up the
yeah, it really does. The synergy's just completely off at that point. All right, so
here we go.
Honor is intact. We do have a handshake, and Robert will take this first activations. And actually, Nick is talking to Rob right now about using the new Malekith activation tokens.
I do like that they kept their gentleman's agreement and nobody brought Malekith.
Yep. Saw that in the last game too. You never know too, just especially in a finals game where it could all be decided on that. And just if you do go against Honor and bring Malekith, and then it doesn't work out, or Malekith just whiffs everything,
Yeah, he's a new boogeyman on the block, but it's just like everything, you got to figure out how to just get around him, right? What to do against him. Same thing, Thanos was the big boogeyman a little while ago, and people figured that one out.
All right, starting strong with a Hulk.
Grabbing that book.
Moving up to get the book. All right. And I think that was an acknowledgement of a double move. Okay. Yeah, it's simple. Obviously, the hard counter to Malekith is Sabretooth.
Oh, of course. Right?
All right.
Really, it's just you bring the power bottom 10 and you're done.
Right, yeah.
You're fine.
Power Bottom 10, at least when it was X-Force, certainly didn't like Malekith. The X-Force affiliation, not being able to use it at all in any way, shape, or form against Malekith can certainly be a little bit rough. But we do have Rogue move up. Looks like she is going to be activated and within range 1 of that intrusion. This is one of those ones that I don't really play often, intrusions. Is this the one where you can kind of teleport around?
Yes, yeah. So you spend 1 power, you roll a die, and if you roll a blank or a skull, your opponent gets to pick where you go. Otherwise, you get to choose, but you do take 1 damage.
And you can use another one.
Yes, yeah, you can keep hopping and hopping.
And just
You're just taking 1 damage every time.
All right.
And you do, if you are holding any objective tokens when you teleport, you do drop them.
Okay. All right. So looks like we do have Black Panther moving up. Also going to be contesting that bottom intrusion. I'm going to go back over to Nick, who I believe has Dr. Strange and Dr. Voodoo remaining. We've seen a lot of Scalpel today, being kind of a really heavy deciding factor on a regular basis, especially against someone like Hulk, where that range 3 place can actually be pretty disruptive.
Yeah, it's such a strong ability. And, you can move your own guys, move somebody else. It's a really, really powerful reposition. Like 3's a pretty long way to go.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so it looks like he is going to move up as well and hold, or at least contest that point in the middle with Dr. Voodoo. Texas Wargamer, as far as other agents of Smash, dude, Maestro would be awesome. I love Red Hulk personally. I love him and the Thunderbolts and the team he led, which we have pretty much everyone else from that team in there. We have Punisher and Elektra, Ghost Rider, Deadpool.
Punisher just needs a home, really.
Yeah. All right, so that looks like we're going to have an assault rifle into Dr. Voodoo. So he blocks it all, but will be left blood. And he gets the follow-up assault. Only 1 on that. Pretty much a solid net gain for Dr. Voodoo, gaining a power and only gaining the bleed condition as a result. It's always a little disappointing for Winter Soldier to have that. But it also looks like he picked up the second book back there.
There's that fine line where, he gets that hammer, and then all of a sudden he's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right?
Any 4-die attack with rapid fire, you do okay, but then you get that hammer, and it's, oh my god, I'm amazing.
Yeah, I'm unstoppable now.
And it doesn't, you don't average out to the 2.5 hits. It just somehow becomes like 6.
Yeah, every time. I've said that a whole bunch playing Hydra Bob. Excessive violence, always whiff.
Oh, yeah.
No damage through. Hydra Pistol, though, like, murks people. Oh, we're going to throw a Dagger of Daggerath into Hulk. Doing it as Mystic. All right, just 1 block. Looks like we are going to do a reroll.
3, so you take 2, and I will pay 1 to use Kambala, so Hulk and
Okay, so 2 damage is going to see its way through onto Hulk. He's also going to bait a Kambala to give both Bucky and Hulk a root. He's going to make jumps more expensive. That's going to make Got Your Back more expensive. Actually, a little disruptive there.
Bucky should be okay for now. It's Hulk's going to be a problem, right? Yeah. Spending that extra point for Gimli now, that extra power.
And so how does Root work on X-Spenders, like his re-rolls? Is it affected at all?
I believe it is, it's X plus 1.
I'm just going to make a 5
power
before you do the superpower.
Yeah.
What's that?
You have to spend the power to do the
Yeah, so like
gotcha.
you're paying 1 up front, and then you spend the X.
It's like a cover fee.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I guess
So it does look like we are going to have Killmonger, maybe? Activate here?
Looks like he's going for that far portal over there.
Up against Ancient One. Not really sure who I favor in that. And maybe over. Okay. Just dead center.
Surprisingly tanky.
Yeah. The 2 dice certainly throws you off when she's counting blanks and getting rerolls.
Yeah.
He can spend 2 to make any.
Wraith, I really appreciate you holding back on that one. In character as Groot for the finals game. Would Wraith, thank you. Consider us even for not banning you along with Chrono Collectors the other day.
let's see how I do. So 5 die, mystical, and I got a pierce.
Join taking a swing at Killmonger.
Yep. That cost me 2
All right. Getting the reroll there. All right. 2 damage into Killmonger from the Ancient One.
I'll spend 2 pierce and 2 pierce and 2 hits. 3 hits total, with 1 of them being a pierce.
All right.
I do 2.
So
The same thing.
2
Yeah, so they're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
2 damage.
You said what I said, but in a different way.
Low point turn here. Looks like 2-1 if they're both on that point.
Yep.
Scoring is going to be. I get 1 here.
All right. It's going to have Rob at 2 at the end of the first round. All right. 2-1. I think priorities are scoring all the seals except. Okay. So only books are putting up points today, which, as they say, reading is fundamental. And I think Robert will maintain priority here as well.
Yeah, they're both 4 wide, so it'll be interesting once they start beating each other up, because that's going to, have a big play in the priority. You got to be careful.
Red Guardian.
So, I mean, who do you start with first? When you have a Dr. Voodoo right there with Pulse, do you just try to overget power? And
I mean, I think you kind of have to, right? Dr. Voodoo is going to be a problem. Whether he's a problem now or a problem later, it's going to be a problem. You can't let him build up that power and start Hulk dropping books.
Yeah. And it's only 1 book per person, right?
Yes, it is.
More than 1. So it looks like he might be trying to get Killmonger up into range. I'm assuming that's going to be a charge since he didn't spend any power in the first round. All right.
And remember, with a little rusty, same amount of luck, you too can look like me.
Ka-chow. See what we get. Robert doesn't look super thrilled with it.
So all of your Dynamo.
You're going to get the reroll.
3 damage if you reroll.
Wow. All right. So 3 damage already going through on Dr. Voodoo. That's solid.
Yeah, it's half a Voodoo right there.
Yeah. Even with the 1 place, that's going to lead to a potentially Black Ops strike within range 3 that maybe pays him. I mean, that could be pretty considerable.
So I'll roll against Daredevil first.
He is certainly. Oh, will that actually get him all the way out of 3? Uh-oh. Yep, there we go. Black Ops strike. Rolling a couple extra dice here, too. He's going to get that range 1 place afterwards as well. And staggers, I believe, on a wild.
Yeah, as soon as he doesn't take out Voodoo, he's definitely giving a little bit of a nerf this turn.
Yeah.
If I were shocked, because I might have done it. Does that one also pierce?
With the shot. And then my
All right, big dice.
Nothing.
No blocks
Wow.
for Voodoo.
defense for Voodoo again. He's dazed.
All right.
Huh.
A lot of
That is a...
Not a lot of successes today.
No.
And then for my second action, I will do
0 out of 8. That is rough. I mean, certainly nothing you could ever rely on. And that's also going to give Killmonger a kill token, I believe.
Yeah, and that does switch party next turn to Nick. It does take somebody out in return.
Yeah. Give a fistful of dice and Killmonger apparently Black Ops striking into Voodoo. You got a fighting chance. I mean, how do you come back from that right now? Isn't it? That's a bummer.
I think that's one of the keys of Dr. Voodoo. All right, you know he's going to be a problem.
Yep.
You're just going to try and take him out as soon as you can.
But I think we push your rule that. So, but now it's
Oh, nuts.
Okay.
Yeah. And that can be a hard one, too, whether you think there's going to be enough combat in that first round to make use of Ironbound books. It certainly, obviously, was. But he did roll the dice to see if it would have mattered, and it sounded like the damage was still going to go through.
It's always an interesting thing with gamers, right?
Yeah.
Let me just see what would have happened.
Right, yeah.
Each of us trying to teleport over the skull, so we're obviously choosing.
Wow. Things not really going Nick's way.
So the failure on the roll on the seal. So Robert gets to place the Ancient One.
Each one building the Killmonger.
Sounds like we're going to go into Killmonger with a strike.
I have Cryo, so if I don't face for that, and Lava face.
Alright, I think I see a Pierce there. A lot of blanks from Killmonger. Looks like Killmonger's going to take the full thing.
3 damage goes through, not these yet.
Not a lot of blocks being rolled so far.
Yeah, this is not a defensive game.
On the hall, you try to sniper.
Already are not shut.
Okay, so we're getting a spender into Hulk now. I think this is 8 Mystic. As long as damage is done.
Yeah, so Rob doesn't get crits from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll stagger him if he deals damage.
So
he can't rely on his rerolls, he can't rely on Wakanda here, you just got to full send it, hope for the best.
So I do the 1 damage, and you are.
That's what you need, though.
Squeeze 1 through.
Yeah. He rolled 3 blocks?
Yeah, 2 wild little blocks.
Wow.
I mean, what's the use of preventing crits from counting?
Right. Yeah, roll more crits, Robert. What's your problem?
Come on.
So yeah, that was fun.
All right. I mean, decent amount of damage on the stagger. That was the real point of the spender, so you can't be too mad on it. But yeah, 1 damage on it is a little disappointing for sure. Just going to bring it over to Robert's side here. I'm curious at what he does here. Whether he just attacks into Rogue with Black Panther just to get her away, but it does look like he's going to be going with Hulk, shaking the stagger.
Yeah, I think you want to save Black Panther, right? Because you push them off the seals. So
yeah, fair.
Kind of save him as late as you can and hope that Rogue just doesn't 2-shot him out of existence. But.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So not much from Hulk, just healing Killmonger a little bit, which is not bad. Back to full, nice.
Okay. That was patch up?
Patched him up before.
Okay. So Hulk going up, everyone's favorite medic, making sure Killmonger is at full. I thought the same thing. I was like, what's he doing? That's a weird save. But all right, I mean, it's a restricted card already off the table. And there's still nothing saying that there's not 2 more characters that are about to pile into Killmonger either.
Yeah.
But at least gives them a fighting chance.
Yeah, for sure. I really like it. So, okay, Strange is going to...
All right, Strange is up.
To the builder into Killmonger. See, that's where I'm going to want to kill you and make you regret you flashed him up.
All right, so Dr. Strange Strange hoping to get a couple pierces here. Maybe, I mean, a couple pierces I think is the same as a single one, but takes him out in one go. There we go.
21.
A single damage going through.
It's kind of playing the reroll.
Yeah.
He's just going for it.
I mean, if I get a pierce, I can.
Sometimes you gotta full send it. That looks like a much better roll.
Oh yeah, the green pays out.
Yeah.
So I do the thing. So
he does get a pierce here.
So I get one and we get
Okay.
All right, 3 damage.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Sometimes being greedy triples your output, you know? Certainly worth it. And that's only attack number 1. That would have dazed him if that was a patch up.
Yes.
So worst case scenario, you can count patch up here as a stagger on Strange if he was
Exactly. I mean, you know, Nick was saying like he's gonna make you regret patching him up, but if Strange doesn't do anything else but attacks twice, nothing wrong with that.
I will have red torpedo.
And that's at least 3 power on Strange too, so we certainly have at least a scalpel.
another.
And we'll go for it again. Second burst.
I am.
All right.
He's going for it.
All right. So we're gonna see
See if it pays off this time.
if the eye can be fully greed. This will do it if you blush nothing. So we're gonna Wakanda reroll. One short.
Because he didn't get the pierce on the reroll.
All right. So sometimes that happens. So on that first attack, he did get a couple through. He did reroll it all. Didn't get the pierce on the following up reroll. Killmonger has taken almost a Hulkbuster's worth of health.
Emotional damage.
And then Nick did what I thought he was going to do, which is put Scout Strange on that corner and then get Hulk out of there.
And I'm gonna hope that's
All right. Yeah. I mean, Scalpel and Rue actually pretty detrimental to Hulk here.
Yeah, he spent a lot of his power on that patch-up. So.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Buckmaster Wild might try to shoot some wizards. Wow. Nothing. Seemed like they both had good rolls there.
yes, you killed the guy. So yes, someone else was bleeding.
All right. So we did pay for the Wakanda Ray roll there. I think he had a rapid fire does happen.
I'm gonna reroll.
Gonna send back the whole thing. 1. All right.
Then I will use
I was gonna use something here.
His leadership, right? To damage the
We've seen some great use out of that convocation bump today. We've seen it work pretty well with Malekith just scooping around the table.
Yeah, deadly in the hands of a player who knows their range as well.
Yeah. Yep. And surprisingly enough, we've seen Nick on stream a whole bunch. Just the guys from Montreal always seem to do pretty well.
Yeah, they did. They were all down in ACO, and
Yeah.
both Nick and Simon won down there day 1, or Simon won day 1, Nick won day 2, and Rob was down there too. Actually, I played him both days. He's a great player.
Yeah.
He's playing Spider-Foe, so we had some fun matchups.
I like that. Assault rifle into an old lady. Looks like some crits and stuff there, and a rapid fire.
And the reroll.
All right, so blank's not counting when you're that far away, but a single damage throw on H1. All right.
Kind of real use another one.
All right, now our 4th shot. Looks like we're spending a little bit.
Yeah, you just gave me power, but then I never get as many attacks.
So she's going to move. Winter Soul Victoria.
That happens before the follow-up attack? Don't the attackers out?
It's when she uses that ability when she's targeted, so the rapid fire targets her again. But she gets the power from the first attack.
Okay. Alright. Second rapid fire. Looks like a lot of blanks. Rerolls. Wakanda reroll. See what he can get through. Two. Bleed? No bleed. Alright. Okay.
So each one's got one left, is that correct?
What's that?
Does Ancient One have one left? You did 3 and 2? Or was it 2 and 2?
I think it was 2 and 2.
Alright, so
Ancient One has 4 damage? Ancient One has 4 damage? Okay. Yep, so 2 and 2. I'm going to bump that every time.
forever. Wakanda forever, go for it.
Okay. Wow.
Black Panther is the only ones that can do it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
Oh, wow, I don't hate that. Get Rogue a little bit away, force the charge.
And Killmonger is still up. So maybe you can finish off Ancient One here.
Killmonger into Ancient One. I think he does at least get an additional reroll because of the kill token now. This might give him a second. Wow, alright.
Nice.
Killmonger with 2 kill tokens now. 2 go through. That's also going to give him a little bit of power. And then I think we're going to Black Panther into Rogue. 3 pushes. Alright, so 3 damage, 2 blocks. Pre-physiology is always to a minimum of 1. 1 damage going through and a push. Robert is certainly taken off to a pretty aggressive lead.
Yeah, 2 characters dazed already.
Yep.
And all that's left is Black Panther and Rogue. So we'll see what Rogue can do.
So where do you go here? Do you charge to the middle with Rogue? Just going to leave Black Panther alone to sit on that? Or do you go down there and know that he's going to, if you don't daze him, he's probably going to try to push it right off and will succeed?
I mean, I think in this situation, probably, get the middle.
Like charge Killmonger?
There's only one in the middle, right? Black Panther can easily push Strange off the middle.
Yep.
So you kind of want to reinforce yourself in the middle if you can. Maybe even backstop Strange here. I mean, Black Panther can always teleport over.
Yeah.
Try and do supports, but...
Oh, looks like he's going to Bucky with me.
Okay. Oh, he does have a book, right? Bucky's got a book, so... Not a bad card.
Bucky's also one of those characters where he's never a bad first target. You can get there and just not have to deal with Got Your Back and all the rapid fire. Yep. So we're going to charge into Bucky. Take a lot of blanks there again. Nick.
Sap Swarm takes 1 damage.
Okay. 1 and 1, or 1 additional power from the sap, and then 1 for the damage going through. Wakanda reroll. Nothing.
Wakanda reroll didn't help.
Okay.
Then I'll have Mystico. Yep.
So that gives him enough to potential Southern Hospitality here if he really wanted to, but I am assuming we're going to go with another strike and probably a mutant absorption.
Just checking to see if he can throw that dumpster. He's just tripping.
We have seen a whole bunch of rogues today just being just shy of a dumpster or a car to be able to really make the most use out of her incredible amount of actions per turn. Oh, we are going Southern Hospitality.
Go for it. You can throw him into that construction vehicle right there.
Yeah.
Hit him for another point.
Because then that way you'll lose the
All right, he's taking a die off.
So,
It's Killmonger. Interesting.
Yeah, okay, that's what I did.
All right, so he just confirmed with the root that Bucky does not have enough power to be able to watch her back with that root on there. So that is why we're going into Krillmonger, yeah. The shrimp killer, Krillmonger. And that'll be a Killmonger down.
It's going to be interesting for Nick next turn, right? He's got priority. I think he just try and kill Killmonger.
Yep.
So he can't use that as circle throw and try to get the extra points.
That is going to be Black Panther to finish out the round. Looks like he's rolling to see if he can teleport.
He's going to push Rogue and Strange right off that.
Potentially teleport. I mean, there's no loss there, right? If he fails the roll, he takes damage, but he has to go to one of the other ones that's not being contested.
Yeah, so I mean, Nick could have put him on the fire one, but he had enough power that he could try to get anyway through it if needed to.
All right, we're going Strange first. All right, Agamotto. Turn blanks into blanks. 1 damage goes through, but this is power's power. Right, that's not even. Okay, that's the activated. Gotcha.
Since it took the damage, you can bounce up.
Yeah. So you almost want to not do damage here in Black Panther, right?
Yeah, you're hoping he manages to block it out with the reroll, but
I don't think any of us are willing to see it again, since he was able to jump back with Convocation.
Convocation jump once per turn?
once per character. So at least till tie the game.
Yeah.
Do I roll the crit before you do the...
Just confirming that crits happen before all rerolls.
You do 1.
Yeah. 1 damage in the Strange. Push again.
Really?
Okay. 1 damage into Strange and another push. He's already bounced, but can't bounce back. Does he try to get anywhere else, or does he just kind of negate that center point there? Follow the day.
Yeah, so that's tie on that center point, I believe, right? So,
Yeah.
another 2-1. Rob's got 2 bucks. Nick's got 1.
So that is going to be 4-2, right?
It's ridiculous. You got 2 books.
Oh.
It's 5-2 after round.
All right.
Neutralized damage.
Yes. Okay. Wow, so many injured characters for Convocation already.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, at least he was able to get Hulk way back there, but not a great spot for Convocation.
No.
Which is what we were talking about before, right? Rob just has to try and take out Nick's characters. Just shut him down.
Swook, thank you for the follow. So no KO'd characters yet, but I think that might change this round. Nick is, in fact, doing some Ironbound books this time. Swook, thank you for the cat butts. I think. All right.
Now, it's interesting here how close all of Nick's characters are together. This may be a good kinetic strike target for Black Panther.
Yep.
Killmonger, Ancient One, Dr. Voodoo off.
Which makes my... So I used it.
So 2 Days characters for Nick, 1 for Rob.
Yeah, I think having Hulk way over there and Rated, granted he'll have the power still to Gamma Leap, because I think he had at least 1 remaining, but it's, yeah.
Especially in the Ironbound book's turn, he's not gonna. But he does have a book, so if he can get into position, pretty good.
We have Ancient One going here, sounds sounds like. Or Ancient One is spending for the Ironbound books. Is that orb? Ooh, spender into Bucky. Ancient One? Okay. So I mean, this could if you're gonna if there's a time to take out Bucky early, it's certainly in a round where you might be using multiple characters. I do love the energy that Robert puts into his rolls.
He's hitting that box too. Throws him way up there, gets him in the box most of the time. It's great.
When he misses too, it's because it bounces from
bounces
that one
out
into the other one.
On a reroll.
Bucky's blocking 2.
Wow, only one off the spender.
Wow. What's that?
The reroll got him a crit, but it doesn't count against the spender.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
So he takes 2.
All right, but he's still up. He will be staggered because of that.
Same thing, but in the kill mode.
Okay.
Just trying to toss some staggers out.
Yeah. I mean, if there's someone to stagger, it's certainly Killmonger.
Yeah.
So it will reduce by 1. Because the targeting step happens before you kill your attack.
This is Mystic.
All right, seems like what kind of reroll on Killmonger, see if we can get a little bit more. He's blocking 1.
Take 2 and stagger.
All right, Killmonger's going to take 2 and stagger. Killmonger have more health on his flip side. Does he go to 7? He does not. He goes down. All right. So Killmonger 3 away from the Deaders Together's.
And with being staggered, he's probably not going to be able to assert very easily.
And his name is John C.
He's going to usurp anyway. Full send. Into? Oh, yeah, fair.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
good
gonna be
call.
Strange.
How much does Strange have left? How much does Strange have left? 3. Oh, he has 3 damage on him.
3 left.
So 3 left. He's going to be 9 dice.
Think,
Usurp the throne adding 2, and Black Ops Strike being 7. He'll get a place and a stagger.
he's got a chance.
Yep.
And that 2 points in this low scoring game is really going to make a difference.
Yep. Yeah, for real. I mean, that could really put him to a pretty solid lead here, especially if, I mean, Hulk's not going to lose a book.
Yeah. Yep. So he can't use the Iron Books. Makes sense.
Yeah. This is counting as an energy attack.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds like.
That sounds like a good roll for Rob.
Yep.
Yeah.
With a bunch of crits, and he's still got kill count.
Got him.
That feels like Malekith Convocation.
Wow.
And 2 other successes.
Okay. Didn't even need the kill count tokens. Ooh. So Strange is down, and then he's going to put Rob up to 7.
So that's why I was saying Nick really needed this to kill one Rob before he had a chance. Yeah, he has Strange have this too.
Those 2 didn't move, so I will deal with
He does still get the place here, right? If he wanted to get on that seal.
Yeah, he's not KO'd, so he's still there.
It does seem like he forgot it. Is it a May? I'm Killmonger. I'm assuming it is.
He must.
Must place within 1 at the end of the Black Ops. Must place within 1 at the end of the Black Ops strike. Oh, you did?
I'm sorry. Yeah, he did vibrating weapons because he wanted the energy.
Oh.
Right, so
That's
5,
right.
7, yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the dangerous things about Wakanda into Convocation is they have enough energy attacks that they can just sort of ignore the Iron Books.
Just eat through one of the really major strengths of that Iron Books. Bucky is going to get punched to the ground from Rogue, and then Killmonger might be KO'd here by that same Rogue. I don't know if there's a whole lot of point in doing that right now, but
I mean, at this point, if I'm Rob, I'm okay with that. Killmonger gets 2 points.
if someone throws a punch at you and you block it with a bowl, does that mean you bowled a strike? That is my understanding. That's what the kids say on the streets, so I have to assume.
Oh yeah, because that guy, I used Spender and did,
All right. Looks like he has the... All right, we're going to mute absorption into Black Panther, sounds like. Okay. Oh, that looks good. Did that do damage? Did that do damage? One? Okay. And it looks like we're attacking, I'm assuming, Killmonger. Okay. So we have an absorbing strike into Killmonger. How much, you said?
You rolled 3 defense successes.
Oh, no damage.
Killmonger's still on.
Texas Wargamer, that is not a bad song to have stuck in your head during hammers. That is for sure.
Not a bad move. Just hand it back to get that point over there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious why not just double attack and then teleport to one of them.
Yeah. I mean, right, same difference. Just take 1 damage, maybe, but, well, you will if you do the teleport, but you have a possibility of, I mean, you can push Rogue off that point she's on there right now.
Yeah.
Push H1 back, and then if Hulk and Gambler can get up there, you can test them around.
Yeah. Hulk isn't staggering. It was Bucky and Killmonger, so
Yes.
Hulk just has the root. Would Hulk get extra damage dice on the beam if he has damage on him to add dice?
Yeah, it's any attacks he needs.
Okay.
Same thing with
Into Killmonger.
yeah, so we're just trying to kill Killmonger here.
Okay.
Same thing with all I've done if you get a book, you get extra dice.
All right. I dig that. Hey, PCM kid, how are you? You being good?
Power from the skull. That's sure.
All right, guys, this is the finals of the LVO Qualifier here at Midgard Games. We have Robert up against Nick. 1
Killmonger.
damage going through on Killmonger right here.
Still up.
Dude's a tank. No short. He has shoes, and he won't be taken out of service just yet. All right.
Killmonger.
What's that?
So just saying, throw in the dumpster, Killmonger, see if you can take him out. It looks like you got a crit though.
Reroll. See if he can survive it. That's a skull.
One from the cement.
Just 1 from the cement mixer. I mean, it is size 2, right? It's the skid steer that's size 3, so he blocked 2 out of the 3.
Builder into Killmonger.
All right, Spirit Venom. Looks like at least a crit there. Looks like we're going to spend again.
Calibration matrix.
For the
Oh,
complete reroll.
so recalibration matrix does in fact reroll skulls as well?
I don't believe so.
So I suck 1 power and I get 1 skull.
So
Okay. That is a Killmonger gone. Listen, the throne has been double served. Right, you know, there does happen to be, in fact, a way that people can sub for free, just get past the ads. If you use your Amazon Prime sub,
Book that Killmonger had.
you will be able to not be subject to those ads anymore. And it looks like Dr. Voodoo was going to pick up the book.
here comes Hulk.
Here he comes to save the day.
throw someone at
He's going to spend a little bit extra here with that root. He's going to hit someone with someone else.
I think you got to throw a rogue, right? She's the only non-dazed character over there that gets that on point.
Yeah. Yes.
Makes that spread a little bigger on the victory points, too. Because right now, I believe Nick's done, and he's got 2 books, maybe, to make it. Yeah, he picked up Bucky's, and yeah. So it's a 2-2 tie right now.
All right. Ancient one into voodoo? What? Oh, he's throwing ancient one into voodoo. All right, that makes sense. So it's going to be 1 automatic damage onto ancient one, and then voodoo is going to be making a dodge roll here. Looks like we got a crit into a blank. 2 damage on voodoo. 2 damage into voodoo. All right. Voodoo is 6 and 6, yeah?
Yes.
What's that? So a third of the way through. Oh, it looks like he has 3 damage on Voodoo does. Or is that a... Oh, that's a book on the bottom of his card. All right. So Voodoo has 2 damage.
Yeah, 11-3 in Robert's favor.
All right.
And already on round 4. Pretty quick game.
Yeah. So that puts Robert 5 away from the win here. Granted, there's a maximum of 6 points on the board, right? It's going to be hard to do. So probably going at least 1 more round. Let's see.
Bucky days, so it's 10-4.
Oh, 10-4.
I said Rogue would have been able to pick it up.
Yeah.
Alright, so they forgot to drop a book on Bucky. So that is going to go 1 more point for Nick, 1 less point for Rob. As Nick now has 2 books, Robert has 1, just on the halt. And that is also going to flip Strange and Bucky. And Killmonger is just gone.
Only 1 undazed character for Nick. Actually, no. Strange. Yeah, so Rogue's the only one left.
Yeah.
Healthy character left over there. So Nick's in a really rough spot. There's only 6 points on the board, and he's down by 6.
I mean, this might just be one of those rounds where they just try to smash Hulk as much as possible. I mean, Voodoo's there. It's a lot of power to have him possess a Hulk, but he hasn't really been doing much else. And I think Voodoo certainly has the power to do it early as well.
Scalpeling's hook away.
Okay.
Hook away, yep. Trying to move him out of the game.
Yeah.
I think Nick realizes. Nick realizes he's going to have a tough time just taking the hook out.
Yeah.
Also trying to keep him out of it, even though it's worth a point.
All right, so this is a Doctor Strange builder into Bucky.
Escort to safety out of there. Use his last card. Use all 5.
All right.
There you go.
That's all 5 cards. So that is going to be an escort to safety on Bucky to get out of range of that builder. All right, so we're going to do a dagger of Daggeroth, range 5 into Bucky, getting wild on the dice. And he is doing this as Mystic. All right, Ray. So the injured characters, the flipped characters for Rob is just Winter Soldier, and Killmonger is KO'd. For Nick, we have Dr. Voodoo, Doctor Strange, and
Strange is going for it.
an Ancient One. Sorry, all flip. He'll send it. Wakanda reroll. All right. So Bucky's only going to take 2, but he will be poisoned.
Oh, he's got that robot on.
I think Bucky's at a point right now where poison. Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. He's rooted. No, he's not.
No, he's not because he flipped.
Yeah.
So he's lost that.
All right. I think we're getting another one of those, probably with Bucky to take him out.
Yeah, I think he's going to go for it.
All right, another dagger off. Nick is kind of giving the grin, like he's pretty okay with it. And aside from Rob. All right, so he's going to Wakanda here into a blank, and Bucky is KO'd.
All right. So Rob, only
He's in the poison. It didn't affect him.
just Hulk and Panther left for Rob, but commanding lead in points though.
Yeah. Well, in a book, and I mean, it's going to be difficult for Nick to get all those points. All right. Strange is going to scalpel Rogue up onto the point just to make sure she's in it.
She's probably going to be looking to teleport.
Yep. Yeah, Bucky is down. And Killmonger. I mean, what's your plan right now as Robert? Do you try to teleport down there with Hulk and just try to do some damage? Do you just jump down and punch?
I think you got to do it. Right, he's not quite on the point. No reason to take damage if you don't need it.
Yep.
So you're going to get 3, 4, 5. How many spiders?
So he's testing that. I mean, you've got a bunch of characters pumped up. I don't think Hulk has a full ton of power, but I mean, being able to thunderclap or something might not be awesome.
He's got the book.
Yeah.
Still.
Oh, yeah.
So you got that 6-die beam that he can throw out.
Pass. What
Makes
pass?
sense.
Put it on Nick to make the call here. So they didn't change the Wakandan affiliation, right? You still have to pay one to reroll one?
Yes.
So it's on attack, defense, or dodges?
It's anything, yeah.
Okay.
Just pay one. There was that weird period of time where they messed with the timing of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's now just consistent.
What's that?
Would you want to teleport yourself to get range to point?
Okay. Looks like we are going to get a top or an Ancient One. Can go where she pleases.
Pretty dangerous, though, with all these wounded characters moving around and taking damage.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the damage happens either way, correct?
Yes, no matter whether you place or your opponent places, you still take that one damage. Yeah.
I'm going to spend.
Build.
Oh, build it. All right, so there's a Pierce on that. Doesn't seem like it did nothing. Watch there. Okay.
Nothing.
No damage.
Nothing. And another one. That looks good. Looks like a lot of hits and stuff there. Another wild card roll. All right.
I'll roll 6 successes that time.
Wow.
He doesn't have
With a Pierce.
5, 6 negative.
Okay. He's going to scoop it up. It's going to daze him. Wow. What a 180 there. From nothing to everything. 6 power on Ancient One as well. Or I think you'll get 4 left, so 4.
You got to go with all. You got to try and take out the next character.
Yep.
He can roll well and take out both Voodoo and Strange. Long shot, but doable. Nick will just have Rogue left, and Rob will still have priority.
Yeah. Going all out on Hulk and Rogue still up. It's not the riskiest thing in the world, but I mean, mutant absorption could hurt him quite a bit depending on if he spends everything here.
Yeah, he's got to be careful.
Yeah. All right.
Strike, I guess.
Okay. He's blocked me 2. Out of 6.
You takes 4 is
KO.
There goes Voodoo.
It's going to get Hulk a pretty decent amount of power, too.
And then he can, yeah, so Nick has to go chase down that book if he wants the point.
Because Hulk already has one, so he can't pick it up. So, yeah, absolutely. The call there.
Rogue also has one already, so she can't grab that this turn either.
Oh, so no one's picking that up. That's strange would be the only one. Oh. Huh.
That makes sense. I mean, Rogue can't get it. Strange's already gone. So, no, it's just, and then next turn he could teleport over there with Panther to pick it up.
Yeah. All right.
And that's a huge saving grace for Rob there, getting rid of Voodoo before he can brother Daniel.
Oh, yeah. And that could be... I mean, we've seen it time and time again with Simon Jerry and with Nick Menard using that possession late in the round to really kind of decide the game. And that's going to be the last activation for Robert this round. We're going to go back over to Nick for his final activation of the round with Rogue.
That's right now. If nothing changes, Nick's going to pick up 3, and Rob will get 1 more. He's going to try and put some damage into Hulk, though.
Making sure that he's going to be... Ooh, might be a little tight there. The base isn't huge. I think he realized he was out of range of that. Out of range of that, too.
Yeah, not quite. Just a hair's breadth out.
Yeah, really just...
Again, Rogue just slightly out of range of whatever she wants to throw. I'm going to throw that.
That scalpel, too, could have put her on the other side of that. He's got to be regarding that a little bit at this point. All right, looks like she might be within range of the skid steer.
Energy.
Let's hope they get power to throw something.
All right, so we're going with an absorbing strike into Hulk here as an energy attack. Nick doesn't.
No saps.
Just 1. I think the throw's 3, right? So it's not
Yeah,
enough.
not enough.
And that was a charge to get there.
Yeah, he didn't charge yet to move it.
Oh, yeah, to move. Oh, because yeah, that's right. Okay.
Wow, so
It's going to bring
11 to 6.
11 to 6. So I mean,
on to round 5 too.
Rob gets party back.
What's interesting too is that the difference in points is for Nick to Robert is, once again, just about every point on the board.
yeah.
So Nick's in a really rough spot.
All right, because Ancient One. Who was it? KO? Oh, Dr. Voodoo to KO. That brings Ironbound Books back online, and he is spending to use it.
Yep.
Could be pretty monumental there against some Hulk attacks. We're going Panther first. Seeing what he can do. Oh,
Do I get to place him?
Nick gets to pick.
he does fail the teleport. He's going to put him down to the opposite side. Looks like he might be spending again.
Yep.
Interact with this portal.
Oh, failed again.
Right back up.
So Nick puts it back, and he can't interact with that portal again.
Not only that, Nick is placing him on the opposite side, so those pushes have to make Ancient One go closer to combat instead of out to a corner.
So 2 damage for standing right where you were.
Yep. Yep. All right, that was 2 power 2. He's using dice, so I don't know how much he has, but it looks like we might be going for the pounds. Oh. All right, Mantle the Panther into Ancient One. It looks like all successes if we match all the Panther.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Good roll by Nick.
Wow. We're blocking 5 because of the Ironbound books. Push will happen at least. Second verse will be the same as the first. Yeah, those Ironbound books just do work.
Couple crits from another good roll for Nick.
Yeah, all those blanks, I think, within range 2, all count as successes because of martial artist.
Wait, I'm getting to
So I will
no, not on this. I used the Iron Ball.
Oh, right, he makes a mistake, so he doesn't get the points.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah, okay.
Still. All right. Honestly, good on Nick for reminding me of that, though, because I thought the same thing. Okay.
No damage to each one at all. Does push her back off that point, but.
Then she is going to.
This is quickly becoming a game of how long can you hold out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to elemental blast.
Oh, okay. So they have the elemental blast from the Wand of Atum going into Hulk. This will add the Incinerate, Shock, and Slow special conditions if damage is dealt. Oh no, that's a whole lot of blanks.
I get 4 and I get trigger for the
Yeah.
Incinerate, Shock, Slow.
So that is 4 damage going to be going through, even if he does somehow re-roll all of those into successes. He's going to re-roll though.
Yeah, he's just going to try and mitigate as much damage as he can.
Especially before his defense goes down to 2. He blocks me? Or 3 go through? 3 go through. Yeah, shock, slow, stagger's rough here. I guess on Hulk it's a little bit of a different situation, right? When you can get some extra damage dice on things, but the Incinerate is certainly going to suck here.
Did you pay 1 extra? So now you don't get reroll for the next attack.
That was just the first attack. Looks like he still has enough power. He's leaving it right on there for Scalpel. And he might just be doing a builder here to see if he can get some extra damage. Yep. The Pierce here is going to be pretty big. Rolling less dice because of the Incinerate. We're just rolling 2 there. Looks like everything's going to go through. Even just rolling 1 success here with a constant Pierce is going to be rough. So Hulk is taking 5. Now I'm sure we're going to see that Scalpel here a little bit further away. And that's going to be a very sad Hulk. 5 damage going through on that.
I'm gonna be able to double punch it either way, but I'm really tempted against you. Yeah, sure. Just stay there.
I'm going to spend my 3,
No scalp?
and I'm going to do the Siberian Shield Slam. Yep. Shield Slam, Dr. Strength. Yep. 6 dice whiskey. And regardless.
All right, we're going to Hulk Smash Rogue.
Yeah, I think you got it.
So how many extra dice is he going to be getting off this? He's taking at least 8. So that's going to be at least 2 dice, minus the shock. Minus 1 because of shock. So just one more because of shock.
Oh, yeah. I'll take 1 after free physiology.
Wow. All right.
Do you get any triggers on that?
I think there's triggers on that,
I'll
right?
spend 1 to pick up his.
He may be deciding whether he wants to reroll here.
Throw a stagger.
I mean, the stagger's cool. He throws a nice-ish.
get snagged, right?
And I will be like,
Sorry, used recalibration matrix.
that's the game.
I don't know if you throw her next to a size 4 piece of terrain next to Hulk. I don't know if that's the play. JS Switch, thank you. Let's start with my butt. Really appreciate the sub. If you didn't know, by subbing to the Twitch, that should get you access to the Discord as well. If you have linked your Discord and Twitch, that'll get you over to the PC and Discord as well. If it doesn't work, hit me up. I'll get you in there. All right.
Rob, really hoping for a good roll here.
Yeah.
So I've been playing because this one's specific.
Looks like he's optimistic here. Only blocking one here. Gonna get some. Looks like he converted at least some of them.
Here for the reroll.
Yeah. One with a time reroll for one more. See if we can get some more through. He gets it.
Just got it without a reroll.
Wow, and that's going to drop another book on the ground.
Yeah.
She's going to drop significantly further away.
So all Nick's got now is Ancient One.
So Strange is not scoring. Strange is not in the book. This is going to come down to what Ancient One can do. What are the ways to get into that magnificent Discord, Tim? Well, there are a couple ways. One is, in fact... Oh, JS Twitch, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
It's like 13 to...
All right, so he's going to get... Okay. Let me get that extra point. So you can get access to the Discord from any level on the Patreon, including the $1 tier, or by subscribing here on the Twitch. Even if it's your free Amazon Prime sub. I'm happy to hear that you're a listener. I really appreciate that. Ancient One going with a strike into Black Panther. This has Pierce and a Wild. That looks stellar. Two blacks maybe? With a crit. And a Pierce. Time for the Wakanda roll.
Just to see if there's clarification, but just for now.
No damage.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Black Panther has certainly done a decent amount of damage to himself by teleporting, but...
Yeah, Spender.
Spender, so the crit doesn't count, nor can it explode. Stagger, if damage goes through at all. It's going to take 3. That means he's still up. I mean, the stagger is going to be certainly impactful, but that is going to have Robert scoring 3. Middle point, top point, and a book.
Scores 314.
I mean, unless he can kill a Hulk, I think.
Robert, all he has to do right now is rob his house to survive.
Yep. So this will be pretty interesting, especially if
Hulk is he's going for it. He's getting out of there.
yeah.
2 moves,
Goodbye.
game leap. See you later.
Hulk is running away. He doesn't get taken.
You know, we saw this from Sploosh in the finals at NashCon too. Sometimes just Hulk needs to get out of there.
I mean, there's lots of characters, right? You get those extracts, you just go.
Yep.
Secure the win. I mean, Strange to get over there, maybe scalp one back in, but not going to be. Then you're risking Panther doing something too.
Right. I love that too. A Hulk running away with Incinerate, Shock, Slow, and Root.
Could have been worse. Could have been like NashCon where he used Zach's Black Bifrost to get away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to take him out, Black Panther, and then.
All right. Somehow, Black Panther was able to block all of that nothing.
Same thing.
Second verse going to be the same as the first, potentially.
They used all my new characters, so
Wow, Black Panther surviving on 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wow.
He's got 1 left, too. I think he did single damage there with 2 Pierce, 5 Mystic attacks.
I wonder if you go with Panther, you walk, you leap, you get in a position where you can just push Strange backwards. Maybe gets him further away from Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Makes it hard to scout that up.
Yeah. Here's what you can't do, and that's Portal.
Yeah. Well, Nick's even thinking he's just talking about right now. He probably can't even kill Hulk.
Yeah.
If I can still table you. I don't think so, but
And actually, that's true. If Panther over there just moves away, right, just takes a long move back, pounces back, he's got to chase them both down to win.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be able to do that.
Yep. No, and I think there's a lot of people that fall prey to that trap of trying to attack or push someone around. Or
Rob's playing this right.
Yep.
Spread them out, different corners of the board.
You got to choose. I mean, Rogue could very easily potentially daze Black Panther. There's an Oscorp truck right there. She has a charge. She only needs to do 1. But
then she's not going after.
Hulk.
But he is going up though. Interesting. Oh, Black Panther was staggered.
Oh, that's right. I don't know. Still a long movement of pounce to the upper left-hand corner.
I don't know why he's put himself in the danger zone. So,
Going to pick up the book.
Oh, maybe he wasn't.
No, he got staggered. Oh, no, damage went through.
That's right. He blocked it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, he didn't see. He put him back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. From last turn. So.
Yeah, I mean, even just wasting an attack from Strange here.
Yeah, he can't. Nick's going to have a really tough time taking them both out.
Yep. I mean, Scalpel gets in range. He's probably not getting too... Well, Scalpel could get him 2 daggers into Hulk if he has enough power. It looks like he does. Yeah, he's sitting at 8 power, I think, on Strange. Scalpel's 4, 2 daggers are 1 each. He's good. But still, it's an uphill battle. He's chosen violence.
Yeah, I think Rob didn't realize Black Panther was staggered.
All right.
So 1 hit.
1 and done.
There he goes.
And that's KO.
But now it's going to be up to Strange to take out Hulk, which is a pretty tall order.
Yep. Gotta do 11. I mean, that's incredibly doable. Like, it is not.
Yeah, just need, with the reroll everything, it can happen. If that does, Rob's going to be kicking himself for.
Oh, he's got Word and Scalpel. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. 2 attacks.
I think he's thinking if there's any other option for this. If he just double daggers and calls it a day.
Yep.
I mean, he's not rolling a lot of dice here.
If he does get this, Rob's going to be kicking himself for not realizing Black Panther was staggered.
Yep.
Scalpeling himself.
Because I'm full of shit rolling really high. I need to do 11 damage to Hulk.
Yeah, let's see.
Watch it. I mean,
Yeah, but it's 11. Yeah, because you don't have the Wakanda line.
all right. Welcome to this.
I might be able to pull this one up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, 4. I think going up there, being able to use the build instead of dagger for the pierce is going to be the way to go.
So Hulk's going to have 7 left.
Yeah.
So I need to do 7 with his 7 dice attack.
Guys, it comes down to this. Can Nick do 7 damage with Sorcerer Supreme Strange into a Hulk.
Rob looks nervous right now.
Yeah, he should be.
All right, let's see.
You heard it here first. I'm playing the video.
All right.
Collection to Scotty.
If Rob dies to this, he is giving his whole collection to Nick and quitting the game.
That's not a crit, so
Nothing. He's got it. He's fine.
So I need to all reroll and roll hits.
He's gotta get the reroll.
He's got an orb here.
Fail those rolls. Do you have any
So both players got rerolls.
Like, what are the odds of that?
Mix up first. He needs to hit on every single die. So he got it.
Oh,
Just
A little on over there, but he got it anyway.
Had one block.
Hulk got one block and he needed to get 7 hits on 7 dice.
good, but if I had got as the initial roll, that would have been better. But late.
He does a couple more to hopefully survive.
all right. Hulk
Wow, down to the
survives.
wire.
I've got 15.
That is going to have it 16 to 7.
7, yeah. Let's score one more.
Wow.
So we do score.
You love a final round like that.
Like, she scores 2, and you score 1.
Yeah, it's going to be 15-7.
Roll had a book, I forgot. So it's 15.
15-7?
15-7, yeah, because all Robert had was the book at the end. Hulk had a book.
Oh, that's right. Oh, but it was 6th round. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, last turn.
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
All right, so we're going to see exactly what happens here. So with the way the Challenger Series works, even though Nick lost this round, because he was 4-0 going into this, that ties Robert up 4-1 as well. So this will all come down to tiebreaker, strength of schedule, and victory points to decide who wins at the end of the day.
Now, before this game, Rob was ahead of Nick on VPs by 1.
What's that?
Rob was ahead of Nick on VPs by 1 in the standings. And
Okay.
he just picked up 7 more.
Yeah.
He's up by 8, so it's going to come down to strength of schedule.
Yeah.
Nick did beat Simon, who was the other undefeated player. But Rob's had some tough games, too.
So that is going to get all tallied up right now, and we're going to see exactly how this happens. Because guys, it's not actually over yet. So let's go ahead back over to the Longshanks. That link has been posted in chat a whole bunch. I will post it again in here so everyone can kind of see how that is going. But let's figure out what happens as T. O'Brien is headed over to put that in. So in some of the games that have already been called, it looks like Robert has fallen down a little bit. So is Nick. Only because Simon and Gabe both won their last games. The majority of the Montreal crew is actually doing real well here.
They are killers. They are very good. I don't know if you heard them at Atlantic City Open, but they started playing during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I think 3 of them weren't working. So they're like, yeah, we just played 140 games 1 week.
Right. I remember hearing Simon say that he was playing like 30 games a week at some point.
It's crazy.
I somehow think Simon might.
Thanks for coming down and hosting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It was good meeting you.
I'll catch you around and I'll make sure to check out your stuff.
Perfect. Thank you, dude.
So,
So, how wild would that be in that final match there?
Nick, great to see you down here.
Somehow wins and it goes to Simon Jerry.
There's quite a few games to be finished, though. So, and I think they played some of those other players that still haven't finished yet. So, shuffle things up a little bit. But.
So we'll see exactly how that goes. So I gotta say, I absolutely love these TVs that Midgard has put in for the course of the day.
Heard you guys are coming, spiced it up.
You know.
Which is great because they do, other events are all the time and they just have the one TV on the wall over there in the tire, but now they can see, you'll be able to see a little better.
I like that quite a bit. So from around some of the other games today, have you seen any other cool matchups? I know we saw, I think, a Web Warriors versus Web Warriors match earlier.
Yep, there was almost a mirror match down the end. One person brought Maze Wheat Kicks, and that actually saved him. They used it on the all up turn.
Aunt May's Sweet Kicks decided the game?
It helped him out. They saved him probably 8 dice on attacks from their opponent. Wow. Cleared it out. There you go.
So Robert just reiterated, use all your tactics cards and you win. That's just what happens. So energy's going back up in the room here. It's getting a little loud as some of these games are finishing up. There's still more being played.
A lot of did see John used his Winter Guard in some previous games and did pretty well. It's good to see those guys were. We have quite a few newer players too. We had just recently did a league in the store here, and 4 of the guys that started, kind of playing regularly in that league actually came down today, which is great.
All right.
And I think Brian might have been telling you before, we've only got like 8 people from around here.
Yeah.
And we have probably 15, 20 people that play, so filled up fast with people from out of town. Everybody trying to get that LVO spot.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Well, and it's cool to see people want to travel for this. And, when you have just a local group kind of playing, you can get kind of not a nice turnout, but just nice camaraderie is not the right word either. But people are chill, they're cool, they allow, simple mistakes to not turn into, mountains. And when you have people coming from different countries, different states, traveling hours at a time, and everyone is still, for the most part, pretty chill.
Yeah.
It's very nice to see.
Every judge call today was just a simple, how does this work? Because we're not sure, right? Yep. Nobody pushing back against somebody, which is great.
I'm sure a lot of turnover. Just, does this effect happen?
Yeah, when does this happen? Exactly. Right, which is always a big thing with MCP, that time of chart. Yeah, 6 guys came down from Montreal. Rob actually is from New Jersey.
Yeah.
A couple guys from Connecticut. So.
Well, and Sivo in chat says that they are the one that introduced Simon to MCP a while ago. Played his very first game with him, and now he's way better. That's what happens. Get your friends into the game, right? But
who doesn't like superheroes, right?
Right. Don't train them enough. You know what I mean? Always keep a couple rules back.
That's right.
You can use against them.
Use the gotchas every now and again.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's think a couple more of these games have cycled in. Let's go over some of those.
Simon did win his last game.
Simon won his. Gabe won his. John Nicholas also won his. Sean Sawyer won over Rusty 16-3. Brotherhood versus Asgard. Looks like there was is that a drop or a draw or something?
Justin had dropped, and then Sean also dropped.
Oh, okay.
He was going to get the bye last round anyway, so didn't care.
So it looks like we have 3, 4, 5 games still to finish here over the next little while.
Lots of cleanup happening.
Yeah.
So it looks like everybody's just about wrapping up. Of course, as an ATO knows, when you need those sheets in, it takes a little while to get that.
Yeah. Yep. So what's next up for you, Matt? Are there any other events that you're going to be hitting up in here in the short term?
I think I'm done with traveling for the year.
Yeah.
I did have a ticket to Nova, which is next weekend, but couldn't swing that and NASCAR in the same month.
It is, yeah. Some of these they're not staggered. You know what I mean? It's just
they're really close.
Weekend.
I had signed up for a bunch of events, hoping to get an LVO invite, and then the first event I went to happened to get one. So
yeah.
So I think the next traveling event for me will be LVO next year, and then of course Adepticon, which I go to every year.
Oh yeah, Adepticon is. That's what started it for us for sure, and literally just can't wait to be back there.
Yeah, such a great event.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of miniatures, I think that's the one to go to.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
It's not just the big games it's played; it's obscure games going on at the same time.
Correct. Sometimes in the same hall. You know what I mean?
It's
It's pretty neat. And I mean, it's gotten to the point where even in that big convention hall, I mean, still a ton of spillover into another separate hotel.
Yeah, all the historical stuff.
And, yeah.
They had to make a whole separate hotel for that. I think the coolest thing I saw at AdeptCon was, do you remember War Master, the 6mm Warhammer Fantasy game?
Yeah.
Or I think it's 10mm, but they were playing it, but with 28mm models. So there's probably 6,000 painted figures on it.
Yeah.
And they played on, it must have been like a 12 foot by 12 foot.
I was going to say.
Huge.
Huh.
You can see all kinds of weird stuff like that at AdeptCon.
Well, and some of the like board displays and stuff like that. There was the guy for MCP that brought the Infinity Punch.
Yeah, that was great.
The margaritas and a Thanos display board. It was awesome. There was a Dormammu one too. I forget the gentleman's name he played. I think we had him on stream. Him and his, I don't know if it was girlfriend or friend or friend or whatever, but they played, and he had this awesome like corner store display board that had like the Daily Bugle sign and a couple storefronts, and people really do some pretty incredible stuff there. And I believe the Worthy is going to be returning this year to Adepticon as well for some really high quality competition as far as painting and constructing.
Every tournament at AdeptCon has just amazing displays, and I think in the big events like their 40K team tournament, the prize for best display is actually like a bigger prize than if you win the event.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So technically, I win.
Somehow, from out of nowhere.
But all right, well, I think it seems like Simon Jerry did in fact take the day. There are a couple games still finishing up that may change, but I think his lead is pretty ahead. When Simon wins, he usually wins pretty big. I don't know, it's still pretty tight. Actually, Robert popped back up there a little bit too, as some of these other games got scored.
Yeah, it's gonna depend on those last couple, but we'll see. If he does win it, it's by a small margin.
Yeah, so right now, as far as strength of schedule, Simon Jerry is at a 1.78. Robert Reale is at 1.68. These other games could affect it. So we're going to hold on until the very end, unless Brian comes over here and says,
It's over.
It's over.
Hear the cackling?
I heard. Yeah, no, we know. Simon pulled it out.
But actually, while you're right here, Brian, do you have a quick minute?
Sure, I have a minute.
All right, Matt, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everyone, you will probably be seeing Matt Alix more, especially at LVO. You know, anytime we have the opportunity, I'm sure he'll pop on. All right, we're going to talk real briefly here to Brian Watson, one of the other TO here at Midgard Games for this particular event.
What did I do?
Listen, just want to chat, man. How did stuff go today?
Stuff went great today. A lot of just the thing that made me the happiest was, so locally we had about 12 out of the 24 players.
Yeah.
So, we had a lot of representation from, 6 states total, and people from Montreal came down. 6 people from Montreal came down.
Yeah.
And all I kept hearing about over and over and over again, how everyone's so fun to play. Mm-hmm. The store's really accommodating and like there's enough space. And
it's a great space.
They didn't feel like, they're cramped in a closet.
Yeah. Or,
in some sort of dungeon that they can't really move around in. So that was really the best part. Just the fact that the games were great.
Mm-hmm.
Malekith didn't really dominate.
No,
which was really, really good.
We saw a couple on stream early in the day, and then none.
Yeah,
due to some gentlemen's agreements between Nick and Simon.
That's
and,
fair.
Yeah.
But even one of our locals did end up coming in 4-1, which was great. It was really good. Again, the Montreal Shark Tank came out and decided to enjoy some New Hampshire chum and feasted a bit. But they were still all really good games, and none of the like locals that I were talking to, like in between rounds or anything, like, they were all just flat out like, yeah, no, the games was great. And like any sort of, I don't want to say complaint, but any sort of like criticism that they might have had about the game had nothing to do with the players.
Yeah.
Which is
an ideal
awesome.
Situation, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, one of the guys from Montreal that I was talking about, like, they were like, yeah, we're going to have to come back down. So, again, it's I keep hitting this thing.
Dude, I've been punching them all day by accident. Every time I go for a drink, I'm hitting it on the way, back. It's the first time we've used them, so they're a bit new.
No, so we're actually creating a little bit more of an expanded community, which is all I wanted, which is all we've been kind of working towards for the last couple years. And it was kind of part of what I was talking about in like my little powwow with all the locals.
Yeah.
Early before the event, it's like, I technically organize things and blah, 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 but it took all of the community to get to this point.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was great. It was wonderful.
Well, I was talking to the Montreal guys during the break too, and it seems like I think one of the conventions that both you and I are going to be at later in the year in December.
Yes.
That they are thinking about coming down for too. It is kind of unique that we have a bunch of people in New Jersey driving a few hours up. I mean, we drove about 4 or 5 hours up as well, and they're actually pretty equidistant from us. And
we're like this weird little hub.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
New England is where it's at apparently.
Yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to future, like that the Everwinter is kind of the event in December. Yeah, it's not only Crisis Protocol. Like there's 40K, there's Age of Sigmar, there's Blood Bowl, Star Wars Legion. Like it's gonna be a big deal. But I'm looking forward to like that growing, as the years goes on. Atlantic City Open. I'm hoping that I'll be able to kind of like hold the reins onto and kind of slowly guide it in, because I got plans that I think would be really fun. But yeah, just helping the Northeast grow a bit and kind of let it be more than just what it currently is or what it was.
Right.
So it's always good. I enjoy it.
Well, thank you for having us here so we could cover this, and
you're very welcome.
Look forward to doing quite a bit more with you, man.
Yeah, and one of the other great things is, 5 rounds is a really long day. Over the entire day, we had 4 people not play all 5 rounds.
Right.
Like, one guy was purely planning on only being here for a couple rounds, but like, there were not a lot of, quote unquote drops, as it were. So it just kind of showed that people were just having fun and wanting to stick it out, which I thought was great.
Hell yeah.
So I think I'm going to let you go because I think there's some stuff, still some results,
some stuff
that I need to enter,
and we want
to sort out prizes and everything else. And you guys got to do your thing.
All right, cool. Well, Brian, as always, thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. Like, you guys didn't, especially with having NashCon the week before, you guys had every excuse to just be like, nah, man, it's New Hampshire. And just stopped it at that point.
Right.
But,
But listen, you have internet here.
Yeah.
That's going to be an increasingly important thing for us to arrive to places. So I'm glad it was here. I'm glad we could use it.
Glad we could help.
And let's thank you again, and we'll hear from Dan.
Yeah,
a little bit now,
get Dan back in here. Get a real professional, not this jackass. Reclaim your headset, sir.
All right. So as these. All right, looks like one more has come in.
Hi.
And more time. Oh my God, I can't believe this, the way these tiebreakers are working. So one more of the last 2 games finished up. The results are in, and it did in fact change the top. So Simon Jerry is still on top. This last game that came in has actually moved to Nick Menard up to be in second. I laugh because it's so silly, but
what is happening?
So tell me about this last game, Dan, being there right on the side. Like, What's the energy like? I saw huge sighs from both ends of the table, depending on early round from Nick, late round from Robert, where it was just like, this game is simply not over, even with some of the big, huge swings in the beginning.
Yeah, it was wild. It was just, Rob took an early lead, and Nick just kind of couldn't catch up, and he got to the point where he's like, all right, well, my only avenue is a tabling.
Yeah.
And then Rob ran away with the Hulk, and he was like, all right, can I do 11 damage with Strange after 2 range 3 jumps, because he still had Orb of Agamotto and then his own Scalpel. And then he was like waffling on what, like, is it better to just do 2 daggers with 6 dice each?
Does he go for the Pierce? Does he go for
Right, so then he ended up going for the Baleful Bolts of Balthak first to get power to do the Shining Circle. To same amount of dice as 2 Deadly Daggers, but Pierce on the bolts. And then it came down to, he rolled the Shining Circle, and he was like, all right, I didn't get any crits here to get more dice, but I'm going to re-roll it all. I have to hit with all of them, and you can't block any.
Yeah.
And that would have KO'd Hulk. So Rob rolled his dice first, and he had 2, because he was incinerated as well.
Yeah.
And he had 1 wild in there, and then Nick was like, well, yeah. And then he rolled his anyway and got like 3 damage through. But he had like 4 left.
Yeah. And I love when a game comes down to something like that, where it's still possible at any point. The dice could, in fact, do the thing that they used to do. A long shot, for sure. But
he had a long shot when he was down, 14 to 6, 7?
Yeah. And that's the thing I love about this game, is that the tabling is, still possible. And even when it's Hulk running around, slowed, staggered, not staggered, slowed,
incinerated,
and rooted. And
and rooted. The root was huge, because there were a couple times that he couldn't Gamma Leap because of it, or Hulk not Puny Banner because of it. That, I mean, it did end up not really mattering, because he did stay alive and get it. But yeah, I can't believe we have the top 5 or 4-1.
Yeah,
it's wild. Rob thought he might, he was going to have the tournament with that win, and it was like, there's a bunch of people 4-1.
Is that last game in yet? Okay, no, that last game is not in yet. There's 2-2-2 players that could, in fact, see people leap around. And we've seen, you know what I mean? Nick went from 4th to 2nd all of a sudden with that last game that came in. So
really?
Yeah.
How do you go up from other people's results? That's weird.
The strength of schedule bases your victory points for the first tiebreaker based off of the win rate of your opponents. So if the people you beat won more games than you lost versus someone that...
Also, somebody that he played and finished since.
So, bless you. But Sivo mentions that they hope that they can host a tournament like this up in Montreal, and that we could come and commentate on it, which would be,
That'd be cool.
An absolutely awesome.
I've never been to
thing
Montreal.
do. I have, and I had a blast there.
I've been to Canada, but not to Montreal. Wait a minute.
We went to...
Maybe I have been to Montreal.
Were we on the same trip? I've been to Quebec.
No.
Quebec. Montreal. We'll have to hit up Ottawa, because that's where Thoris is. And...
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have to ask my parents where we went. We went on a vacation and into Canada at some point when I was a kid, and I can't remember exactly where.
But that would be super cool. And I need to get my passport anyway. I need to get an enhanced license so I can fly, and I think the enhanced license gets you into Canada.
Last I knew, before COVID, all you needed to go into Canada was an enhanced license. I think that's still true.
Yeah.
Good luck getting to a DMV, though. Somebody burned them all down.
That's true. Absolutely true. But
I'm really
we're just refreshing
to see
this
what's happening
over and over again. Okay, it is in. So these are the final. Wow, Rob went down again.
What?
Because of those highbreakers. Okay, so this final 4, assuming that there are no additional changes to any of this. In first place, we have Simon Jerry. Second place, Nick Menard. Third place, Gabe Lamont. The Montreal Shark Tank showing up in droves.
Wow.
They cannot be stopped. And out of the top 6, 4 of them are part of that Shark Tank.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
That's wild. I know Brian is just going by AMG's guidelines for tournaments.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't like strength of schedule as the first tiebreaker. I think the first tiebreaker should be head-to-head.
What do you mean head-to-head?
Like, so say people had the same record, but they played each other. Whoever won that game should have the tiebreaker there, but that's not how it goes.
I think strength of schedule certainly has a lot of valid points. If you play a bunch of really good people and they all do very well, I mean, you were beating more difficult people, right? If someone, goes 4-0 and they played people that for the most part weren't scoring a lot of victory points or were newer or all went 0-4 or whatever at the end, the people that had the stronger strength of schedule have been competing against higher level players, at least for the most part.
Well, I think the other thing is that to calculate strength of schedule, unless you have a program like Longshanks, I don't know how to do that.
That's fair.
There's a bunch of math involved. It's ridiculous.
You always need more excuses to use Excel whenever possible.
This is the last thing I want to do if I was hosting a tournament was to put everything into Excel.
Listen, we're playing dice games. If you can't use a spreadsheet, why even bother?
Well, I mean, luckily we have Longshanks that just calculates it for you, but I think within that document that AMG put out, they put in how to calculate it as well, which is good.
Correct. Well, and
Rusty agrees. Too much math.
Alyssa makes a good point, too, where people dropping is something that can happen. Very thankfully, we did not have many drops at all, which is actually pretty rare, I feel like,
rare.
for a 5-round single day event like this.
Really rare.
People continue to play. It's a fun game. It's a fun atmosphere. Everyone's super chill. And that is just what it is.
I don't mind it as a tiebreaker. I don't totally like it as the first tiebreaker.
Yeah. The caveats for people that played against each other, and I do think is something that's unfortunately very hard to implement in there. But I do think it is what it is. And as long as you know the rules going in, Montreal stinks.
I feel like that's on you. You're the part of the Montreal Shark Tank, aren't you?
Though, we do have an event coming up where there's some animal-themed teams. Maybe the Montreal.
You want to add a fourth for fifth?
Well, I mean, listen. Yeah, kind of.
Racist pre-orders when.
But guys, I think that is going to do it for us this weekend. Another congratulations. Every time we've been around them, Simon and Nick seem to do incredibly well. Always good to see them. Also super cool guys. Gabe as well, Jean Nicholas. And there's a fifth and sixth one floating around too. I don't think we've met them yet, but
I don't think so.
But great group of people, super nice, very informative on the game. And so is everyone else. It was great to see Rusty here. It's always good to see Brian. Matt Alix is honestly one of the coolest, just most chill, level-headed people I think I've met, especially in this community.
I need to watch the final now so I can see his commentary.
Yeah, very good. It was super cool to have him on. It was great to have Dylan Dyer on in Game 2. And you on every round as well that you were here for.
Thanks. It was fun. And it was nice that we had I wanted to commentate the whole time, but when I don't mind stepping aside to let others get a different voice in there and then help with saying what's happening. Wish we had somebody for the Simon and Nick game.
Right?
They played in French.
They did. I did like how Nick asked. He's like, did you guys have any idea what was going on? And I was like, if it wasn't for those gosh dang hammers, we would have been able to figure out, all right, this is Storm.
Right. We were pretty good.
But it was always fun.
We are Legion.
But guys, that'll do it for us here this week. Make sure to tune in for the 3 streams at least that we do every week. This next Monday will be the Power Phase, where we'll have from our own local game store a live Marvel Crisis Protocol game where you can affect the game itself by spending channel points to blast us with air horns, ban in-game superpowers, as well as give or take away power from some of the characters on there. So if there's a character you love or hate, listen, you can help them out or hinder them.
Make us talk in funny voices or sing everything we say.
There's a lot there. I did panic a little bit when Wraith was like, I might have Tim talk like Groot for the rest of the final. And I was like, oh! And I
don't!
Panicked and went over there, and she totally got me. She tricked me because I had already turned it off. But I thought I hadn't. So that was pretty good. But Wednesdays is Taylor's Hobby Hangout, where he puts together either terrain or some new models that comes out. He does incredible work. Always great to just hang out in there, get some of your own backlog done, and just hang out with a really cool dude. Thursdays every week is a brand new episode of Wait, Did I Roll a Wild that we stream right here on the Twitch Live, where you can interact with us and chat as well. Podcast version comes out every Tuesday. I know it's sometimes difficult, especially with an international audience, always catching it live, but that's why we put out the podcast version as well. well. This upcoming week on Wait Did I Roll a Wild, we're also going to be adding on a new Patreon-only show called The Cleanup Phase, where we talk about a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that happens at conventions and travel and that kind of story stuff, as well as getting into a little bit more of the nitty-gritty about what we do when we play, paint, or just some behind-the-scene things in the network as a whole. There's also a whole ton of actual play content over on the Patreon as well, behind-the-scenes stuff, additional full podcasts and tabletop games. We run multiple games in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, as well as Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition. In addition to a bunch of other one-shots that we've done. We did the Avatar, The Last Airbender, TTT RPG. I don't know where the third TT came from. Soulbound.
Which is also on YouTube. Check it out. Great game.
Yeah, YouTube is a great place for that. We are certainly fleshing that out quite a bit. There's going to be a lot of content over on the YouTube, on the Patreon, and on the website as well, with Marvel Crisis Protocol blogs, as well as blogs for other games as well. You'll be able to see a lot of the people from the community that we've kind of assembled writing for those as well. We had a great blog from Dylan Dyer talking about how to get the most out of painting black, especially on Poreless Glaive. Yeah. And there will be a new one this week from him about warm whites and being able to do characters like Supergiant or Black Swan. Trying to think about other ones that are primarily white characters.
Ghost Spider,
yeah.
If you want to paint your Venom like Anti-Venom.
Actually, yeah.
Pretty popular one. I think I saw one. Maybe, was it here?
Reading those two articles together too will give you a really great balance of really how to up your paint game. I know I learned quite a bit from it. I'm going to finally be getting around to painting my Black Swan with the cool blacks and the warm whites. So should be a good time.
Nice.
All right, Dan. Well, I think we're done. I think this is it.
I need dinner.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm hungry.
I am a little hungry. But guys, thank you so much. And as always, professionalcasual.com for all of this and more. We love you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.